countries, international partners, media representatives to actively participate, report, and contribute to raising awareness about Forum. And we look forward to welcoming you to Baku in May 2026 for Group 13. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And now I turn to the Executive Director. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Excellency Ambassador, members of the media, good afternoon to you all, and thanks for your time here with us today. First of all, I would like to acknowledge our partners here, Mr. Anar Gutiev, Chairman of the State Committee on Urban Planning and Architecture of the Republic of Azerbaijan, and National Coordinator for Group 13. Thank you for crossing across and coming here today. Ambassador Sultan Hajiev, the Ambassador of the Republic of Azerbaijan to the Republic of Kenya. So your leadership, your partnership has been very central to the preparation of the upcoming World Urban Forum. We are very grateful for the spirit of co-creation and constructive. It's my honor to address you on behalf of UN Habitat, the United Nations agency mandated to promote housing and sustainable urban development worldwide. I would like to brief you on the preparations for this 13th session of the forum, which will take place from the 17th to the 22nd of May in 2026 in Baku, Azerbaijan. We like to repeat this date a couple of times. The forum is actually the world's largest global platform on sustainable urbanization. It is community. It is actually within the UN the largest platform to engage with stakeholders. It is the stage for all partners, for diverse organizations to showcase their experiences, their practices to build critical mass. Since its first session in 2002 here in Nairobi in Kenya, WOOF has been hosted across 5 continents and has attracted over 100,000 participants. This 13th session will focus on the theme of housing, as has already been said. The theme is housing the world, safe and resilient cities and communities. It reflects the urgency of our global housing crisis. We have nearly 3 billion people living, more than 1 billion people living in informal settlements, and over 300 million experiencing homelessness. The crisis is deepening though, compromising safety, health, and productivity for millions in cities in every region. The housing crisis is also closely linked to the climate crisis. Inadequate housing leaves millions exposed. The vulnerable communities, those living in informal settlements and slums. Therefore, sustainable housing and urban planning are essential and fundamental for climate resilience. WOOF 13 will place housing at the center of global discussions, not only as a basic human right, but as a foundation for inclusion, for safety, and for climate-responsive development. But let me call your attention for the year 2026. It is a special year for us. It marks 10 years since the adoption of the New Urban Agenda, which is the global commitment that guides UN Habitat's work. It was agreed in 2016 in Quito, Ecuador, at the Habitat 3 conference. And the next year, the UN Secretary General will present a midterm review of this New Urban Agenda to the General Assembly. So it will be a critical moment, not only to review, but to shape the next 10 years of the New Urban Agenda until 2036. Also, SDG 11 on sustainable cities and communities will be assessed at the UN High-Level Political Forum in July 2026. The General Assembly will convene a high-level meeting on the New Urban Agenda. So next year we are assessing SDG 11 and the New Urban Agenda, critical for UN Habitat. In this global context, WOOF 13 is more than a conference. It will be a checkpoint. It will allow countries and partners to take stock of commitments, identify gaps, shape priorities for the decade ahead. As part of the forum, we will launch the World Cities Report 2026, which will also focus on housing. Outcomes emerging from WOOF 13 will reach the midterm review and the high-level political forum. WOOF 13 will also issue the Baku Call to Action, forward-looking declaration on adequate housing. Finally, 2026 marks also the beginning of UN Habitat's new strategic plan for 2026-2029, which places housing, land, basic services at the core of our mandate. The discussion, the debates, the practice at WOOF 13 will also provide guidance and critical inputs for the work of the open-ended working group on housing that now is co-chaired by Azerbaijan and Somalia. So many synergies across 6 days at WOOF 13. Governments, mayors, civil society, academia, private sector partners and communities will showcase practical solutions from upgrading informal settlements to mobilizing housing finance, leveraging housing for climate resilience and economic inclusion. WOOF 13 will be a platform to showcase solutions, reaffirm commitments, reinvigorate efforts to tackle the global housing crisis, and accelerate implementation of the new urban agenda in the next decade. WOOF 13 colleagues will offer extensive opportunities for reporting, including access to high-level speakers and thought leaders, dedicated media spaces for live broadcasting and interviews, briefings with UN Habitat experts, national and local governments, the broader UN community, direct engagement with exhibitors, showcasing innovative urban solutions, startups, opportunities to follow stories on housing, climate resilience, urban finance, community-led development, among others. Media accreditation will be opening soon, and further guidelines will be shared on the World Urban Forum website. So I warmly invite you and your organizations to join us on the road to Baku. The WOOF 13 belongs to all of us, and we really report on your reporting to inspire global action, amplify solutions, shine a light on the urgent need of the housing crisis and the importance of housing for the world. So we look forward to welcoming you in Baku in May 2026 and working with you to bring these stories, these messages to the audiences globally. Thank you, Asante.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rosbach. So at this point, should I be, yes?
I guess we have a few minutes, about 7 minutes. So I would like to open the floor for the questions that the media can have. If you can kindly introduce yourself and the media outlet that you're representing, and who do you address the question to. There is a mic, so please raise your hand if you want to ask a question, and there is a mic.
Good afternoon, our able team and members of the press. My question goes to Anna Claudia. Since the adoption of the new urban agenda 10 years ago, can you briefly tell us what were some of the achievements for the 10 years?
Can you please also introduce which media outlet you are?
I'm from ABOS African News Agency.
Thank you. Maybe we take one more question and then, yes. Yes, Natalie.
Yeah, thanks, Katerina. Oh, Natalie is my name. I'm a Kenyan but working for Shinwa News Agency. I also shoot my question to Madam Anna Claudia. In terms of course, I will not repeat what my colleague has said, but I just want to know where the Global South starts as far as urbanization is concerned. Of course, we know the challenges, the climate crisis, the rural-urban influence, and the lack of basic services. I mean, what can we do out of the ordinary to get to the desired destination? And that is sustainable urbanization.
Istanbul.
Good afternoon. My name is Noor. My question is directed to Mr. Gulia. I know in Azerbaijan there is an ongoing reconstruction of one of the key areas that initially was in contention and that was sorted. So talk to us about the parallels, why this matters right now, especially you guys are reconstructing. Kenya on our side, we are talking about affordable housing. Paint for us the parallels between the Kenyan situation and what you hope to achieve at Move 13. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So maybe we start with the first questions that were addressed to the Executive Director.
Sure, with pleasure. No, I believe there are many advancements and progress if we look at the key principles of the new urban agenda, right? So the new urban agenda calls for comprehensive urban planning that recognizes and embeds, for example, settlements living in informal areas. The new urban agenda calls for participatory planning. The new urban agenda calls for multi-level governance. The new urban agenda talks about recognizing the social and ecological function of the land, talks about putting people at the center, planning for the people, for the nature. So if you look around the national frameworks, the laws that orient urban policies around the world, the way cities are planning or are changing, there is advancement and there is progress. I can give you a couple of examples. Bogota, the last master plan from Bogota was really focused on, maximizing the existing spaces in the cities, any vacant, underutilized, looking at densification in a more strategic manner, protecting the environmental surroundings of the city. So, and planning in a language that everybody understands and with participation, right? And I'm talking about the city because I'm just coming from the World Cities Day there, so it's clear here in my mind. So it reflects some of the elements. Nevertheless, and also combining with the questions about the Global South, right now we have half of the population living in cities, and for 2050, we're going to have almost 70% of the population living in cities. This means about 2 billion people coming to cities. The bulk is in Africa and Southeast Asia, right? So urbanization, despite the 10 years of the new urban agenda, urbanization presents many challenges. If you look at Latin America, there's still a high prevalence of informality, of segregation in cities, and difficulties to overcome, the challenges in terms of inequalities. But it's a highly urbanized region. If you look at Africa and Southeast Asia, it's a process of urbanization that will bring strong impacts. I feel it's a progress that we had our first African Urban Forum last year, and a recognition by the African Union of the impact of urbanization and relevance and importance of addressing issues such as the transformation of informal settlements and housing, recognizing the importance of planning the cities for receiving massive influx of population. I also see positively that during the General Assembly, the President of Kenya called for action from heads of states to put housing at the center. And this is actually what the new urban agenda proposed, housing at the center. And perhaps if we look at the global housing crisis, this is what we need to do in the next mile, right? Because we still face several issues. The call on housing calls for context-oriented solutions. So I think for the Global South, it's very important that we look at experiences and look at different models, but we understand the context that we live and we adapt the solutions to the context that we live. But putting housing at the center of the national development agendas, for example, is critical. Allocating investments, finding houses in the Global South, and especially difficulties in sheltering the population. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Guliev, if you can also answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you. There was a question about experience of Azerbaijan. I have to underline that Azerbaijan, under the leadership of His Excellency President Ilham Aliyev, for many years, paying very big attention to urban planning and urban development. And this is around the country. And there are around the country. And there are some other to plan and develop smart cities, trying to respect nature, energy efficient decisions are being made by local authorities. So far I think we have quite successful Azerbaijani model of post-conflict recovery. We use the term. So we are ready to share. We will do so during Global Forum. And I think there are similarities with what Kenya is doing as a champion, one of the champions of housing. We're facing same challenges. All the countries, all the nations facing same challenges. So what we did, we're ready to share and to support our friends and their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this response, and I think His Excellency Ambassador also wanted to add something.
Well, I mean, I don't really have much to add other than echo what Mr. Chairman said, but maybe just to refer to the fact that one of the preconditions of success of the group is to think globally while acting locally. So we've just heard about very specific examples, Azerbaijan and the reconstruction rehabilitation program, and then Kenya and the affordable housing program, which as Chairman mentioned, is a kind of a flagship, is the avant-garde of this effort in Africa and also globally. These are issues important for those countries, so we do hope that we will be able to offer some very practical solutions to be sharing experience and taking the process further. And if you look at the theme, it's not something abstract. Housing the world, safe and resilient communities, that's what we all care about. It's not some people talking about something in their room. It's what we all care about as we leave home, going out and about our business. So, I mean, it's really important to focus on the pertinent, relevant issues that are making it important for each and every person. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we are out of time, and I would like to thank our esteemed speakers for the statements and for the responses.